loving on Whatnot Shipping. The platform has upgraded quite a lot. Oh my gosh, I went back and I looked through some of my videos from last year, and some of the questions and some of the issues that we were talking about, they're no longer an issue, period. Whatnot has done an amazing job of enhancing our shipping capabilities without it interrupting our business. And that is the thing that I love. Even though AI is offering to do all sorts of things, it's like offering to write a book for me in the background. So welcome in. Yes, Retro Steph, you came to the right place. Okay, hold on. Bear with me on these minute adjustments, but I do want to get that giveaway going. Also, I have pinned up the winners of the Naughty Awards. Yes, if you're recognizing me, you do know that I was one of the presenting hosts at the Naughty Award ceremony. That is all a grassroots effort that's organized by the Suburban Beach, BISH, and I encourage you to visit the Suburban Beach site if you want more information. But right now we've got a giveaway going, so enter that giveaway. That giveaway looks different than what I've seen in the past. I've just upgraded my app, so I don't know. This is all a new world for me. And I'm going to take your questions. We're going to talk about shipping-related topics as we do. We're going to adjust our lighting as we can. This is kind of dramatic. This is like almost like, what is it, like a Dateline or a 48 Hours interview? Like, I knew there was a problem with the shipping as soon as I saw blank. But I knew the shipping was going right as long as I went to my Whatnot app, because I love the fact that they've given us some upgraded tracking capabilities. Also, the thing that I'm really loving the most is that in-app scanner, so that when you get to the post office, whether or not your post office has a kiosk or somebody who's ready at the desk to scan your items, you can go ahead and alert Whatnot that you're there and you're dropping your items off, and it's working out wonderfully. So I can just say kudos to that. I mean, it is the best way to go. I'm also going to tell you, I don't know how many of you believe in like psychic events, but the other day I was rushing out to get to the post office. I normally would tell people, so, okay, I'll do what I need to do for my business, but I try not to give bad advice. So I would tell somebody, wait until you get to the post office parking lot before you start scanning your packages. I was in a rush and I was scanning packages at my front doorstep because I thought as soon as I get in that lobby, I'm not going to have time to waste. Okay. I was against the wire. I turned the corner and there was a USPS van parked around the corner from me. I said, can you take these packages from me? I've already got them pre-scanned. So that saves them time even, because they can just shoot that through to the sorting center and all of the timelines will rectify. And I was like, Thank you so much, Whatnot. Thank you for slashing the time. Make sure you guys jump in that giveaway. And I do want to tell you, there are no losers in the giveaways. The giveaway, if you screenshot the image, you get $10 to spend on Sticker Mule to get some custom stickers made or a graphic of your choice. You can have a t-shirt made, a coffee mug. There are so many custom items that they do. We don't sell print on demand on Whatnot, so it's not taking any money off the platform, but it's giving you an additional way that you can market your business, and you get $10 if you use that QR code. So that's pretty cool. Now, I do want to play a little trivia here, and look, we don't want to embarrass ourselves with the wrong answers. So if I don't see a lot in the chat, I'm not going to get too worried. I'll give you multiple choices even. But I just kind of wanted to put some context around it, because every time we talk about shipping related questions, it's like the doom and gloom just automatically comes in. But there have been worse things that have happened in the world. I think we can agree on that. So what discount retailer promised America it could ship my pants during a Super Bowl ad? And if you want a hint, what bankrupt, out of business discount retailer promised America it could ship my pants during a Super Bowl ad? Go ahead and put, how did we get such a fast right answer? You are correct. HBO, congratulations. It was Kmart. It will never live down that moment. But the funny thing is, we have a little bit of college humor on Whatnot as a platform, right? And a community. So we kind of share some of these slightly immature jokes. Anybody could revive that, right? I mean, Kmart's not going to come at you and say, "Hey, you you took our joke from us, right? You took our trademark joke. They went out of business." But anybody could do a ship your pants promotion, and what a fun play on that. There's a lot of stuff that goes along with parody and free use and all that. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm just suggesting, look some of that up. Some of those past failed promotions you can play off of, and you could actually, who knows, make your own viral video moments. Because it already proved that Kmart could not ship your pants. And of course, you're going to win the giveaway. Do you want to know what you're going to get? You're actually going to get some postage stamps. You're going to get some postage stamps, and that is going to be so good for you because you can do things the old-fashioned way that really do still work. I tested this, and you can use these postage stamps. I bought some postage stamps when postage was 68 cents. It's now 78 cents. So definitely an inflation hedge, but I'm going to send you a couple of those. And what that'll do is if you want to send me back a sticker with your brand on it or a note or anything, use the mail. The mail is our friend. We often think that the mail is not necessarily our best friend, but believe me, when we go through some of these examples of shipping mishaps, you'll understand the mail has rescued us more times than we can ever imagine. So use those stamps. And shame on me for not using them before postage went back up or went way up. In fact, just for that thing, because believe it or not, here, this is going to lead me into a second solution that Whatnot has given us. I'm going to do another giveaway, and you are absolutely, if you've won, keep winning. You're absolutely encouraged to enter again and again and again. And I'm going to tell you why. With that self-scan feature, did you guys know that you can scan your first class envelopes? April, welcome in. You are always welcome to rate and bring in all of your friends with you because you have a lot of fun Whatnot family that we love to talk to. Okay, let me tell you how do I explain this? The labels. Okay, there's a difference between package labels and envelope labels, right? We know that. If you sell stickers or trading cards, you know that the label format is different. During the first day, so please don't let this go overnight, but during the first day, if you print out those envelope labels, you can scan those as drop-offs. You can't do it at the post office, but you can do it in the Whatnot app. And from what I'm hearing, that has helped accelerate people's average shipping times because as soon as they scan it, they're just putting it into a post office drop box or handing it to their mail carrier. So even though the post office doesn't have a way that we can scan them to get those recognized for a quick drop off, you can use your Whatnot app and do that. Ding, 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 ding. And that will help average your shipping time. So if somebody wins 2 giveaways, not 1 giveaway, technically that counts as 2 orders that went out within 15 minutes as soon as this show's over. Isn't that a good idea? Because I can run really fast to my local post office drop box. That is so good. I know, suddenly you're shipping faster than some of those big e-commerce platforms. Amazing! Because Whatnot's given us the tools and capabilities. I love that. Tap, 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 tap. Keep tapping. Okay, let's go on to the next question. We're using all of the tools and resources they're giving us. We just need to understand how they work and why we want to, provide that elevated level of customer service. This is why you want to share the show with your friends. But this eventually will make its way over to YouTube. So if you miss a minute or two, it's not the worst thing in the world. Let's go to another fun trivia question. What company once shipped customers a box containing only air due to an automated packing error? I can give you a multiple choice if you need it, but what company once shipped customers a box containing only air due to an automated packing error? And I feel like we might pick on this company, but when you're that big, you do tend to make some shipping mistakes. I've not heard of that on Whatnot, but need to stay hydrated. Okay, so let's go through a couple of multiple choices. Number 1 would be Amazon. Number 2 would be Best Buy. Number 3 would be Staples. And number 4 would be Newegg. Newegg, N-E-W-E-G-G. It's like a technology company from what I understand. Any guesses? Any guesses? Bueller? Anybody? Anybody? And if you want, look, I will give you, you are on a roll, HBL. Yes, Amazon. It was the company that once shipped customers a box containing only air due to an automated packing error. Ooh. Wouldn't you think somebody would catch that? Like, doesn't a box of air like weigh a little bit less than a PlayStation? Okay, moving on. Okay, which carrier became infamous for tracking updates that read in transit for weeks? I could give them to you, but you know the main carriers, right? Which carrier became infamous for tracking updates that read in transit for weeks? And these are carriers, not companies. So carriers. Carriers like UPS, US Postal Service, FedEx, or DHL. I saw somebody guess FedEx. Keep guessing. In transit for weeks. Weeks and weeks. Oh, you guys, you're guessing. You're getting closer and closer, but it's actually USPS had that issue. So the US Postal Service had that issue with tracking updates that said in transit for weeks. And if we backtrack, could we just like rewind time? The tracking system that we all take for granted that we rely upon, it wasn't built like recently. And congratulations, HPL, you'll get another postage stamp. Are you excited? You got $10 to spend on sticker mail, plus you got some postage stamps. Plus we're having a lot of fun talking about this. So the USPS tracking system, it was not built recently. It was built last century. So when there are like hiccups and glitches, sometimes it is a little bit of an untangling to go through all those lines of spaghetti computer code that like link to this database, to that database, to the next. It's unbelievable, but overall very reliable. So the fact that they do keep it operational as old as it is and as many millions of packages as they're tracking on a constant basis, pretty amazing. But when things go wrong, apparently, yeah, it can say in transit for weeks. Has anybody seen that happen, though, where you are like maybe dealing with like maybe one particular package and you're just trying to figure out like, is it ever going to get there? Because I will tell you a little bit of personal observation. I won't talk about my customers, but I can tell you what my experience has been as a seller. And these are not prison bars. This is my window blind. I had it open because I thought the light would be really good. But I think it's too much, right? So I'm not in prison for this. Okay, so let me tell you my experience. The U.S. Postal Service, when there is a system interruption, they don't always announce it because, again, they're dealing with stuff on a constant basis. So I have occasionally seen packages boomerang around the country. And what I've found out afterwards is that there was a facility that had a major incident or something was horribly wrong. Like it was getting hit by a tornado, something of that magnitude. And then it's like, oh, I see what happened. So they basically went everywhere to avoid that. And then it got to the right place. So if you have floods, yes. If you ever see your packages headed in the opposite direction of where you think they're supposed to be going, there might be a facility issue that they're avoiding so that not everybody's stuff gets destroyed. I had a situation near me because I'm in the middle of the country. I'm like the most spoiled brat. My shipping rates are about the same from the West Coast to the East Coast, and it's going to take basically the same time to get there. So I'm right in the middle of the country. Now, I want to tell you this, though, because I saw this situation play out where there was a chemical, like a hazmat chemical spill at my local, like the nearest distribution center. So everything had to get scattershot away from it. And they didn't announce it like at the time. they cleaned it up. They made the facility safe. And then eventually I found out, oh yeah, they were shut down for a day or two because they had to go in and, make things safe. So so if anything, if your package is delayed, it could sometimes be a good thing because it meant that they protected it and saved it rather than throw it into the, toxic waste pile. But that's just, and you know what? We've only had like 3 trivia questions. What else could possibly go wrong? Share some of your exciting stories, because I said at the start of the show, I'm going to do one seller support each month, up to 2 hours. So I will answer as many questions as we have as it pertains to shipping. And then the other seller support show I'll do is how to YouTube on Whatnot. Now, those 2 topics have definitely, and you mentioned, April, you said that there were some protesters. Yeah, you had to ship something to like get away from the protesters. Yeah, 100%. It could be anything. It could be a ground incident. It could be, air traffic control even, if there are restricted flight patterns due to weather or other circumstances. So there's a lot that we take for granted, but, there's reasons why sometimes things get delayed. And so I don't always assume the worst. The USPS, from my experience, has like a 99.99999% delivery rate, just selling and shipping online. Every once in a very rare while would something ever go completely missing. But even that, they have procedures to track those packages. So overall, they're a very good business partner. And we're very spoiled because we're in the United States. Imagine elsewhere in the world where it really is a shot in the dark if your stuff is ever going to make it out of the country or to the next destination. They're just, we have a very reliable system, and we have the best discounted rates through Whatnot. Oh my gosh. Somebody asked me what I was doing at the post office because I had so many large packages that had to go over, to the counter. And I told them about Whatnot, and they're like, I've never heard of it. I'm like, oh, it's the easiest way to sell stuff online. And I really mean that. It's so good. Okay, let's keep it going. So I should also tell you, spoiler alert, just glancing through the trivia questions, I don't think any of these actually, the answer is going to be Whatnot. I don't think Whatnot has made the Dirty Dozen list. And thank you, Gabrielle Peace. You're always welcome to come in and spread warm wishes. And April said, if the label prints 1 ounce and it's not like the label for stickers, does that mean it was set up wrong? And can you add a pair of earrings? So yes, if it is not a if it's not a first class mail label and it does show one of those tracking codes with the barcode at the bottom, it's a package. And going between the two, though it is possible, it is usually not in your best interest or the customer's best interest to try to get that rerun through customer service, because they have a process that just takes a while. So it's my experience to just use the label if you can use the label. So you can always use a package label to send a letter item or a thin skinny mini sticker or something. The key is you want to put it in something that's going to be at least 1/2 inch thick. So like a bubble padded mailer would work, or the smallest box you can find. And then, go ahead and just turn it into a package shipment. And if you want to send an extra thank you note or anything that's appropriate. Oh, you think you messed it up and put it on an envelope? Okay, well, that determination is made at the point of acceptance. So I will tell you, I have had experiences, and I've heard from other sellers, sometimes they will get rejected because packages have to be at least 1/2 inch thick. They use different sorting equipment for packages than they do for first class mail. I love discounts _com is a shipping pro. They have specialized equipment that they can munch up a cardboard box and generate just enough filler material to make a package thick enough if they had to. I think you might even have your own bubble wrap machine. I think I've tried to talk you into setting up your own private training camp. I'm sure I'm going to have more good ideas for you. So you're definitely going to want to watch. But the number one thing you can do is everybody go to ilovediscounts_com on YouTube and make sure you're following their channel because they put up some of the funniest short videos. It's rare that we have stuff that I would say is more socially acceptable than whatnot acceptable, but there are a couple that I would say belong on social media for sure. And so we want to encourage lots of those social media videos. And keep it on YouTube. Keep the YouTube on YouTube and keep the whatnot selling. You know, that's what we do. Oh, and April, you said something about earrings. I love discounts_com has sold a ton of jewelry. I saw them sell hundreds and hundreds of pieces of jewelry last night. In the pinned item, let's see who the giveaway well, we have a winning streak. So good for you, HBL. Consider that another postage stamp you'll be getting. And you can use those to send anything. I'm in the middle of a scenario. I don't mix my personal and online life, but I'm in the middle of a scenario where a one postage stamp probably could have averted a $10,000 dispute. And again, it all has to do with the tracking and the tracing that the U.S. Postal Service offers us. Anybody could say that they didn't get something in their email. So let's just be real. Those postage stamps, they can be worth their weight in gold. And let's keep it moving. So I love discounts_com. Make sure you watch their YouTube videos and subscribe to that YouTube channel. Where else was I going with this? What other questions do you have? These are some of the easiest questions. I mean, we've had weeks and weeks where we haven't had any shipping conversations, and it seems like there's been no problems, which I love. Okay, so let's do another trivia question. Which company accidentally mailed customers used items? I was talking about jewelry. Which company accidentally mailed customers used items as new during the peak holiday season? If you guys need, I can give you 4 options, but I don't think you even need 4. I doubt you even need 2. Yes, congratulations, April. That is the correct answer. Yes. They sent out used items as new during the peak holiday season. How embarrassing is that? Because there are some things you just don't get a do-over for, right? Especially if they're gifts, and then you don't have extra time to reorder, correct? So I know that sometimes as sellers, we're a little bit hard on ourselves, and sometimes even it seems like when buyers are raising concerns, they're being especially hard. But the mistakes that we make on Whatnot are just nothing compared to some of the stuff that goes on out there in e-commerce. And if you can make a joke about it and keep the customer, humored, you can usually work through almost any situation. So what should I be saying about jewelry? I love discounts_com because we do have an expert. One thing I want to mention is the pinned item here is the awards program for the Naughty Awards. I have never said I'm the expert at everything. I'm giving you the list of the people who are. The people who won Naughty Awards, this is all community-based, okay? So none of these awards were bought. None of them were corporately sponsored. Whatnot did not sponsor this at all, not even one penny. It was all organized by the Suburban Beach using a voting format. And so you have all of the sellers who are at the top of their game, who were recognized by their peers and their customers. You have the whole list. So if you want to know who the best at social media is, or you want to know again, this is a vote, but still, it's a pretty good starting place, right? I would tell you screenshot those, print it out, because the awards have already been announced. So, and wait, I recognize so many nominees, but I don't want to announce somebody as a winner if they didn't win. Let me see who won. Let me go back to my list here. And let's see. I was honored to present. I personally did not win. So if you want some expertise in any of these areas, I would probably point you to the people who won the award. And let's see. And by the way, the Suburban Beach did a really good job. For somebody who's doing it just as a volunteer, I mean, oh my gosh, she coordinated and organized so much. And I'm in the wrong mailbox, which is no wonder I'm not finding it. Oh, here we go. Let's look. What? She got this out really fast too. Here it is. The awards program. Give it 1 second to pull up. I'm going to go to the bottom. So you guys can see it faster than I can see it if you just go to the listing. Okay, so if we have best packaging was junk, paper, scissors. So if anybody wants to ask questions about packaging, junk, paper, scissors, attend one of their shows. Actually, one other thing you can do is place an order. You'll see exactly why people voted junk, paper, scissors as best packaging. Funniest Whatnotter, Faded Flamingo, does have an adult filter on. I will say that. There is an adult filter on those shows. There was another one that was... Okay, so best shows in jewelry category, Rust and Pearls Vintage. So anybody you want, and then Whatnot Seller of the Year is Corey Mannix. So anybody you want to get their expertise, go watch their shows, see how they're doing things. You know, many sellers, if you don't interrupt their show, will be glad to answer questions. So when it's kind of slow, or if you want to send them a private message, they gladly will help a lot of people, especially a lot of these winners do host their own seller supports. Best supporting Whatnotter, seller or buyer, was House of Coop. They won twice. They won in 2 different categories. So you've got a lot of expertise. Because one thing about the Whatnot platform, it is very dynamic. It's very quick changing, and you need to stay up with that. And that's why having access to sellers who are top of their game, you know, it really does help. Okay, let's do another giveaway, and we can ask more. We can do more questions. I didn't see a follow-up jewelry question, so I imagine everything is fine there. Unless somebody was trying to send me like some like diamond tennis bracelets or something. I don't know. Maybe. Oh my gosh. Because I've seen some jewelry run for some pretty low prices on Whatnot, which is pretty amazing, and sold for some pretty low prices. Jump in the giveaway. So the giveaway, you're going to win, even if you don't win. Take a screenshot of the QR code for the stickers that you can get from Sticker Mule. You can get any personalized product, use $10. And then also, if you do win, you'll get a postage stamp. And if you win multiple, you'll get multiple postage stamps that you can use for your own personal whatever, including sending a thank you note. You know, a lot of us, we send a lot of stuff through the mail, but you have to know that that's the exception, right? A lot of people have stopped using the mail because we do email and a lot more digitally. But if you send somebody an actual card or letter, it has a better chance of getting their attention and getting read. So if you send me something in the mail, then I'm more likely to notice it than if you send me a Whatnot message, because we all get dozens and dozens and dozens of those. So you can use that postage stamp and boomerang it right back. Okay, let's keep it moving. Now we have, oh wait, we were on trivia, weren't we? Okay, let's go back to trivia. So, because we've got some trivia hounds here. Okay, we've got, oh, this is a good one, actually. Which retailer once refunded customers and still delivered the item because the system gave up? Which retailer once delivered items and refunded the customers because the system gave up? I can give you 4 multiple choice suggestions, but it's a retailer. Just take a guess. They gave refunds and they still delivered the items. Any guesses? It's actually not the one I would guess, but I don't know if that tells you anything. Okay, so let me give you a few suggestions. Oh, HBO, I would, they didn't even make the top 4. Yes, April, Walmart did it. That's a surprise to me. HBO, I will tell you a funny story. Personal shopping experience only. And I'm not here to bash companies because they've all had different approaches to their e-commerce business at different times. But sometimes when you just take the wrong attitude or the wrong approach, it can really turn people away. And and it did, and so actually, the little office supply company, I will not shop with them anymore because what happened was I went and I found all their clearance deals and I loaded up a big basket and I placed an order, and then I got an email the next day that said, we analyze whatever, like normal business patterns. It was my money and I had money to pay for the order. It wasn't that the card was declined or anything like that. It was not a fraud alert. We analyze order patterns, and your order fell outside of our whatever, so we canceled it. And I was like, I'm never spending another penny with you, ever. And these were all clearance items. So they were basically inventory that the company has decided we don't want to sell. It's not high demand. We need to get rid of it. But I apparently found too many clearance deals, and so they canceled my order. And they did that to hundreds of people, from what I understand. And so I was done with it. And you got a free laptop and leather chair. Can you give me one, please? Or 2 or 3. But yeah, and actually really what it was a bunch of red pens, because the thing about these clearance pieces were they were offering free shipping on anything you could buy on their website. And it was like a bunch of red pens. And I thought, I'll donate it to a local school or something. Like if I need a box, I'll use a box, but I'll just like order whatever, and then just donate the rest. And I used to do things like that. But when they canceled the order, I'm like, I'm never ordering from you again. Nothing. So now we've got Whatnot. And I would never ever imagine a Whatnot message like that. Just the tone was so off. Okay, let's keep moving. Because you are winning like a pro. So about that free laptop and leather chair, I would prefer a black, but there are a lot of really pretty browns. So anything that you think I would like, go ahead and ship that to me. You'll get my address when you get your postage stamps. Okay, let's keep it moving. And how did you get those, if you don't mind sharing that secret? If it's something that's like you can't share, then obviously we understand. But I'd love to know, how did you get a free laptop and a leather chair? Okay. We're going to skip over 2020. A lot of carriers had problems that year. Oh, this is a good one, actually. Which company accidentally priced luxury items at a fraction of their value and honored the orders? I can give you a few examples. Nordstrom would be 1. J. Crew would be 2. Macy's would be 3. And Bloomingdale's is 4. Which company accidentally priced luxury items at a fraction of their value and honored the orders? Oh, I love it. So, April, keep guessing. Okay, HBL, you said you ordered in store, they shipped 2 of each and denied doing so, so you kept them. Well, that's right. If they said they didn't, then they didn't. Let them be right. Santa Claus. But I noticed that when a lot of companies were coming like years ago, but like when a lot of companies really started ramping up their e-commerce, keep guessing. You're getting closer. You're like, now you got a 50-50 chance. Let me reread these. Nordstrom, J. Crew. Well, basically Nordstrom or J. Crew. Anyway, like I ordered some dining chairs from Target, and Target online, they ship them in packs of 2 per box. And so I forget what it was, but I had to return a few of them. But then the staff basically, I think I had to explain like there's 2 per box. Otherwise, they would have only thought it was 1 dining chair, or they would have assumed it was the full order. And I wasn't returning all of them. So it's kind of funny how that can work. It has to be Nordstrom. You're right. It was, yeah, it would, and they might have all done it at some point. They like Bloomingdale's and Macy's. I could imagine Bloomingdale's, and actually I could imagine Macy's doing that too. So yeah, Nordstrom definitely did it. But what happened was somebody just mistyped the data, and then it carried over into their whole category, and so that's why. Oh my gosh. This is a good one. It's a surprise one, I think. Which retailer accidentally sent customers thousands of unsolicited items due to a listing glitch? 1 is Amazon, 2 is Wayfair, 3 is Overstock, and 4 is IKEA. Which one sent thousands of items unsolicited items to customers due to a listing glitch? And we will also let me do this too. I will pin up, I should have pinned this one up anyway, but okay, now people might get an alert. I'll leave it there for a second. So are we talking about Amazon, Wayfair, Overstock, or IKEA? Sent thousands of unsolicited items due to a listing glitch. And I hope you guys are getting some. You're correct, April. It was Wayfair. There was an issue with the inventory, and it just kept sending out stuff. So, again, we think that our shipping problems are like disastrous sometimes, and they can feel that way. But in the big reality of it, the mistakes we're making are nothing compared to what some of these huge companies, billions and billions of dollars, tons of staff, they still make some pretty big mistakes. Oh, you got some of that? Good for you. Good for you. I've always thought about that because, there is a thing called product dumping where, like on some of the platforms, if a seller is going to have to start paying like shelf rent space for, non-selling inventory, they'll just put in an order and send it to any address. And I've always thought like, well, why don't they ever pick me? Because I would sell that. Your neighbors thought you were starting a furniture store? Yeah, exactly. And that before I started selling on Whatnot, because it's a high speed platform, I used to have stacks and stacks of boxes on my front porch that I did not have time to open because I was finding so many good deals online, and I just kept going for it. So, oh my gosh, how funny. Okay, so hold on. This is a funny one. Which carrier once rerouted packages to the wrong state because 2 cities shared a name? And we've got our main suspects, the Postal Service, UPS, or FedEx. Which carrier once rerouted packages to the wrong state because 2 cities shared the same name? April, you are correct. It was FedEx, but it was also UPS, and it was also USPS. They've all done it. Isn't that funny? You'd think like with zip codes and like geo tracking, it would be impossible, right? Hey, Paul Bennett. And you are laughing so hard, you're going to limbo. Okay, well, if you're going to limbo, I'll do another giveaway. How about that? Get in there, though. You could get a postage stamp. And let me give you another one. So, which company delivered a refrigerator to the wrong house twice? A refrigerator to the wrong house twice. Was it Home Depot? Was it Lowe's? Was it Best Buy? Or was it Sears? They delivered a refrigerator to the wrong house twice. And I'm not trying to do any subliminal advertising, but have you noticed that Wendy's does that? This is a Wendy's water cup. Isn't that funny? Honestly, HPL, I'm sure you're right. But let me give you a let me give you the answer that I got, which is Home Depot. Apparently Home Depot's done it, but I could have sworn that Lowe's has done things like that. So yeah. Home Depot for sure. We have verified Home Depot has delivered a refrigerator to the wrong address twice. That is funny. You would think that the delivery drivers too would be like, they sent this one back. Like, why are we, or something on the order notes would say like, hey, don't go to the wrong house this time. Okay. Ooh, this is a good one. Which retailer shipped live plants upside down repeatedly? I'll give you 4 choices. Number 1 is IKEA. Number 2 is Amazon. Number 3 is Home Depot. And number 4 is Lowe's. Shipped live plants upside down repeatedly. Any guesses? Now, Whatnot's plant category is actually pretty cool because they give sellers, I think, up to 10 days to make sure that things like this don't happen, to make sure that the plants are well preserved, well wrapped. And I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but it's the one category that has a longer shipping time window because they don't want things like that. So April, you said in your town you have to verify the direction, whether it's north, south, east, or west. And if there's no direction, then it could end up at the wrong street. Yeah. There are some places like that for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So who's shipping upside down plants? Was it IKEA, Amazon, Home Depot, or Lowe's? Anybody want to take a guess? It seems like we're picking on the same companies, but there's a little bit of variety. Lowe's? Keep going. I'm sure they've done it once or twice, but we're talking about repeatedly. Like everyone. Any other guesses on that one? And IKEA does sell some plants, but I don't know if they ship them. So I'm going to just eliminate that one. I don't know that you can actually order on their website. I know that if you go into their stores, you could purchase a plant. Well, we kind of, by process of elimination, came back to Amazon. Amazon was shipping upside down plants. Apparently, they were just going to float through the air. I don't know, go figure. How funny. We could keep picking on companies, but what other questions do you guys have about Whatnot shipping that we can talk about for 2026? Because like I said at the start of the show, I think it's gotten easier, and so much of that is due to the technology upgrades that Whatnot has built into the platform for us. I do see a lot of beginner questions repeated, and that's totally fine because I have a YouTube video. There are a lot of sellers who have YouTube videos that explain the basics of Whatnot shipping. the one that I put out more than a year ago is still valid today. You can watch it, and it would explain the basics of whatnot shipping. And every week, people are hosting shipping support shows. So I think it's just gotten better. And April, you said that you met a lot of people on the south end of your street. Oh yeah, when you're like trying to like exchange a Gabriel piece, so good to see that you want to give away. So you'll get an envelope. So keep an eye out for that. It'll have a postage stamp for you. But yeah. If you have to like exchange packages with your neighbors, and my neighbors have always been good about that, and I've always tried to be a good neighbor about that. But yeah, sometimes it's literally, sometimes it is quicker to just walk it next door than to give it back to the mail person and say, this got delivered to the wrong address. And, back in the day, when I was getting everything, like I used to get my medicine delivered from CVS when they were doing that for free. And they don't do it quite the same service. But the point is, I had a neighbor who contacted me because they got my like CVS box and it had medicine inside, and on the prescription information it did have a phone number. So I was like, well, thank you for telling me that. And they were like, I wasn't trying to be nosy or anything. I'm like, no, I'm glad you told me, because they were expecting their CVS medicine. And so they just instantly opened the box and saw, no, this isn't for me. And you love how, April says, you love how labels generate instead of manually typed by the companies. Life has gotten better because of it. Yeah, we don't really have to put in any information. I mean, other than once we verify the weight and dimensions of the box, it pre-populates everything. And it's really, really, it's kind of foolproof if you just follow the system. And I also don't see a lot of unusual requests. Some platforms, people are known to request that the address get changed after the item is sold for any variety of reasons. I don't think I've ever had that happen on Whatnot. All the things they tell you to watch out for on other platforms, I've just not experienced it myself. I'm sure if you sell that many thousand more, it could once in a while happen. But for the most part, Whatnot's shipping system and tracking is very seamless. And I think that that's a nice feature of the app. I also think that the updating with the outgoing communication is good because it doesn't overwhelm somebody, but they at least know that their package is, it's on the way to them. So overall, yeah, I think Whatnot has really gotten a smooth running system. But I'm still, I think pretty much everybody in the room, I'm assuming, is still going to be considered in the smaller seller category. So when you get into the multi-thousands of items going out each day or each week, it's a different story. But from what I understand, Whatnot's system, we as small sellers, we have the same tools as the largest sellers on the platform. So it's one system that just really works really well. And I also like the fact that they've maintained some cost savings in spite of everything else costing a lot more. So there's just a lot that I think, as an online seller, we can be grateful for and use to provide that higher level of service. Because if it's money that's not getting wasted on the back end, we can put a better product out for the customer. And that is why I'm really, really excited about this year. I am definitely exploring different show formats to make it more interactive as opposed to just standing here and holding up items. Not that there's anything wrong with that if anybody wants to buy something. But I think the video feature and the instant communication are what make Whatnot so very special. So, for example, I keep planning this brunch. Now, if somebody wants to buy me brunch here, I'll pin it up. You can buy me brunch, and we will go and we're going to have brunch together on Sunday. And if you guys don't want to buy me brunch, I'm not going to hold it against you. I'm just going to put it. I'm going to put it out there because here's something that is different about Whatnot that, for example, alternately, I could go to YouTube and I could make a YouTube video about going to a restaurant and having brunch. And I could tell you about all their food and what I liked and, kind of give you a general ambiancing, but you don't get that interactivity with the person. And so that's what's really unique about it. That's what makes it different than a quote unquote mukbang video. And those always perform well on YouTube. So I know that there's a natural audience for people who want to share a meal with somebody virtually, but to do it interactively, that's the difference that I can do on Whatnot that I can't really do very well on YouTube. Yes, YouTube Lives, you can absolutely have some interactivity, but it's not the same as Whatnot. And if you come to my next seller support where I tell you how to YouTube on Whatnot, we get into that. We talk about the little details that make a big difference as far as whether or not something's going to do well as a social media video or whether it really mukbang means. It's just where you watch somebody eat. Yeah, it can be where somebody pigs out, but really it's just where somebody's eating food. I mean, I think the Korean word literally is just you're watching somebody eat. But see, with the buffet video, we can actually go and we can discuss what I should sample next and what somebody wants me to try and what I like and what they might think is too spicy and all that good stuff. And again, those videos do well on social media. So there is an audience for that, but I'm trying to come up with something clever and creative that, again, can really integrate the Whatnot enhancements. And then with Whatnot, anytime you make a purchase, you'll get something in the mail. So I'm like, well, you know what? If somebody wants to buy me brunch, I'll get them a signed menu. I'll have the chef sign the menu. How cool is that? You don't get that on YouTube. So there are just fun things that we can do. Yeah, it is. Well, in April, the thing about once you start on watching some of those YouTube videos, it'll just take you down this rabbit hole. And it can be impossible to find the way out. I think I ran away. I love discounts_com. Let me look at their YouTube channel and see what they've been up to. I'm gonna do that. Because what I've done is I've actually gone back through the Whatnot playlist on my YouTube channel. It was over 140 videos. I've pulled off the videos that don't have at least 100 views. So now it's down to 70. And there's a few that are just a little shy of 100 views, and I've left them on there for good reason. But for the most part, every video that's on the Whatnot playlist has at least 100 views. Some of them have several thousand views. So those are the ones that are the popular ones that people, they want to watch and they're watching. So I made it a little bit easier for you guys to find those. But let me go to YouTube and I'm going to go to iHeartDiscounts_com. And why am I saying iHeart? I love discounts. I love discounts. I just need to say it more convincingly, I think. Okay. We still need to get a few more subscribers. Let's get them up. Let's get those subscribers up. It looks like they've got 21 subscribers and they've got 11 videos up, and most of those are shorts. And that is definitely a nice feature to have. If any of you saw the show preview for this episode, I used a YouTube short video that I made as the show preview. So you can do both. You can have a YouTube short and you can have it as your show preview. And the show preview was talking about how to set the max shipping. That was a request or a question that came through one of the comments on my YouTube videos. Somebody was asking about how do I use the max shipping settings? So I went in and I just did a quick demonstration of how to do that. And so everybody who didn't necessarily make this show, at least they can watch that and it explains something about a feature on Whatnot that they might want to use for their shows. You don't have to. The max shipping is a feature that I use on most of my shows now because it doesn't really cost me anything, but it does tend to give the buyer a little bit of reassurance that they're not going to have to pay more than $9.21. Although I do know I Love Discounts, some of their shows, they've used a different number. They've used a lower number than that even. So some sellers are being more competitive by using that max shipping feature. And depending on what you sell, it might not really cost that much more to ship. And if the buyer doesn't have to think about that, then they have more money they can spend, right? So it's definitely a win-win. Somebody unlocked bronze. Joe Kerr, congratulations. So yes, with bronze and with every reward level, you will get a couple of discount coupons you can use. There's no waiting period for that. So if you want to buy me brunch at a discount, you're allowed to do that right now. Let's see what else we have here. What else is in my little shop of goodies? This is a fun one, actually. If those of you want access to the full replay, many of you have already bought the prequel to my novel. It's a digital. You are branded now, exactly. It's a digital file. You're allowed to purchase that, and then what'll happen is you can actually go in and watch the full video receipt if you want any of these fun moments. Hey, do what you will. I will also tell you a lot of the best, or I have to be careful with my words. A lot of the sellers that I admire the most are actually very good. They're very smart and they're very good sellers. They don't always tip their hand at how experienced and knowledgeable they are. But once in a while, I do notice something that impresses me. So I will give a shout out to here. Why don't we make you a mod, and maybe you can help tag somebody. Country Roads with Michelle. Country Roads with Michelle is a seller who I did a promotional video for about a year ago, maybe a little bit less than that. But the point is, she was really happy with it, and she sells sewing patterns and vintage fabrics. And so she's just got this library of really cool stuff. She can give you what you want for any garment that you want to have made. And Country Roads with Michelle, what she didn't tell me at the time, she has a several decade history in radio broadcast. And so she used to host a country music show. I'm trying to think of the exact genre, but she used to host a bluegrass show, actually, a bluegrass music show. And so she can just run smoothly. She doesn't need direction. She doesn't need to be given a script or told what to say. She can just smoothly run like any radio professional. And I didn't know that before we recorded her promotional video, and she did a really phenomenal job. So we've kept in touch. And the other day, she shared with me that she sent me some fudge. I said, if you send me fudge, I'll do a review. I'll do a sample for you, and tell people what I think about it. And I did, and it was all delicious. She clipped part of that, and she used that, I'm hoping, for some of her marketing. And I thought, well, again, that is absolutely perfect. The Whatnot feature they give us for a good reason. So thank you for doing that. She absolutely, she nailed it. And she did something else. I asked her if she wanted to go live. She took a little bit of time off after the holidays, and I said, because I'll put different sellers on my YouTube channel to kind of spotlight them or feature them or just give people a different sample. Unless you're set up and you're registered with Whatnot, you don't get the full experience. You don't see the chat. You just, you get the commercials that they run on social media. Has anybody seen the Whatnot commercials on social media? Can we get some yeses in there? Or some W's or some N's or some please no more ads. But anyway, You don't really know what Whatnot is until you've experienced it. So I asked her, I just jumped in her show. I said, do you want to go live? And she said, sure. And she rolled with it. So she's actually on the Whatnot playlist, and she's gotten a few hundred views. Do you guys want to see? Let's see if we can give you an up to the minute count. How about that? YouTube Studio. Because Michelle is a pro. She is a real pro. But she doesn't start her shows by introducing herself as a broadcasting professional with decades of experience. She just talks about her sewing patterns and what she has available to sell. She's got a lot more than that to offer, though. Let me analytics. She has got to be up here. Content. You know, Whatnot's app is actually a little more intuitive than YouTube, from my experience. But YouTube is serving the billions, and Whatnot's serving the millions. Let me try it this other way. If I go back to my YouTube app itself, and we'll just go to channel. Or here, Whatnot playlist, right here. It's the second one here. I'm going to turn this down. If it's not already, okay, it's already down. So what are we looking at here? This is Country Roads with Michelle. And here. I just want to get a view count, actually. How do I do that? Well, on this list, it shows me 135 views. So 135 views. So in her show, I don't know if I have an actual show count to see how many people were watching in her show. But think about that, because you're introducing 135 more people who don't necessarily have to register and get set up with the app. Now, I always put the referral link in the description box that gives $15 for somebody to spend. So if they wanted to start shopping with Michelle, they would have that $15 referral code. They could get signed up and start that right away. They have to do it that way. They can't sign up for Whatnot and then try to get that after the fact. Like, I don't know if we know that as well as we need to know that, because it's been a while since a lot of sellers have set up their accounts, but you have to send them through the referral link to get them the free money. So I always put that in the description box of the shows that I sample. But Country Roads did a really, really good job. And she got 135 views. And that was just this past week. So she'll be on that Whatnot playlist for a while. Who else? There's another seller, and I'm getting into some YouTube stuff because it's going to be a couple of weeks before I have my next seller support, and it's going to be how to Whatnot on YouTube. We've knocked out most of your shipping questions, but you know, the power of videos is that we can communicate very, very quickly and succinctly, and it doesn't require a lot of back and forth messaging with our buyers if we plan out how we get that information to them. So having a YouTube channel that talks about the basics of how you do business on Whatnot, and you could always send buyers there. You could always talk about your shipping process. You know, that worst case scenario, it'll be like in the mail within 2 days. That's a pretty good turnaround for people who are running their own small business. It's not going to be weeks or months before people get their stuff. The fact that we use the USPS system so that we have that up-to-the-minute tracking at every step of the process. I mean, those are all enhanced services that you're providing by using Whatnot that the customer, you just need to make them aware of it, okay? They don't know this unless we let them know this. But there's another seller out here who is doing some pretty amazing stuff. Let me see if I can find, he doesn't need any extra. He doesn't need any extra attention necessarily. He gets so many views. Zach, he's a guy who does woodworking demo shows on Whatnot. And this one was from 2 days ago. And if you look at the bottom of the screen, he got 3.6 thousand. So at the do you see underneath the title there, it says, because it's on my channel, so it says at Stay Home to Shop. Next to that, it says 3.6 thousand. And that was from 2 days ago. And if you just watch what he's doing, he's just making his products during a Whatnot live show. And he also sells his products during a Whatnot live show. April, you can absolutely use your personal media. I'm going to tell you the reason I do not mix the two. It's going to eventually come back to privacy. And sometimes if you try to take your personal YouTube that you haven't necessarily scrubbed from all your past personal information, you'll eventually get people trolling you and stuff. But it's really, really easy to set up a second YouTube. And the reason is because for every phone number, they give you up to 4 Gmail addresses. And with every Gmail address, you can have a YouTube channel. So your YouTube channel could literally be whatever your first one is, and then you could put the WN at the end for why not or something like that, or you could put the number 2, or you could put 2026. Just it could be a basic lookalike account, but it does help not to have any personal and then e-commerce stuff commingled, because it's just impossible to pull it out once it's there. And I've done that with my own Facebook account, and it never worked well. So I don't use Facebook for any of my marketing. I took down dozens and hundreds of photos and birthdays and everything. I've tried to scrub off all the unnecessary information. But because I set up my Facebook account when I was, college-ish age, and I used it to communicate with my college friends, I wasn't thinking years in advance, like, oh, I might want to use this to promote my business. So I would say YouTube is a very easy one to have a second account with. And you can always, you own your content. So you can decide what goes where. You can put it on your personal and you can put it on your business. You can do a second Facebook account through the first one, but it's hard to manage. Yeah, I'm glad you reminded me, because I think I tried that. I gave up. I'm really glad you said something, because there is a second one that's probably been abandoned for a dozen years. It's just so messy. And every time I get a new device, and this has been a thing that I've dealt with in the past couple of years, I'll get a new device because I get spam bombed. And so I'll have to get a new device. Unfortunately, I've changed my phone number 3 times. I still get spam bombed. And I can't completely erase all of my past emails and stuff, but it's just it just catches up to you. So if you can start a clean account, that's probably going to save you some headaches. But if you want to use your personal account, that's what social media is there for. Social media, this is something I can help people with. Social media is a really, really good natural alternative to Whatnot when it's not necessarily Whatnot time. So on Whatnot, we have to be ready to sell. It's a selling platform. So if somebody wanted to order something like my prequel, I have to be able to send them their digital code and send them a thank you note in the mail within 48 hours. If I'm on vacation out of the country, I'm not in a position to do that. And here's where I want to be very careful about how I say this, because I don't want to sound too scary, but I want to be very real. There are a lot of rules that go with e-commerce. And so in the US, they're pretty consistent and very, liberal. We have freedom of speech and all sorts of good stuff. When you're traveling elsewhere in the world, Whatnot is set up in some countries, but not everywhere. So please, 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 if you're going to do vacation updates, put those on your social media. Those don't go on your whatnot. You can always tell your whatnot friends and family when you get back home that you have like a vacation vlog that they can go find on social media. But when you put whatnot on like your vacation, suddenly you have to be complying with the terrific duties and fees and taxes that are terrific and that varies all over the world, even if you're offering just to do giveaways. So please, please, please. Vacay time is perfect for social media. Selling time is perfect for whatnot. Because you just don't want to be like caught into explaining, well, wait a second, where were you going to ship that postcard from? And did you know that you have to pay a 300% terrific government donation, whatever we call it? But that's a real thing. I mean, that's a real thing. You said you got busy and you posted some birthday stuff on your business one and you lost a friend over it. Yeah, exactly. Especially when you are, not really like going by different names and things like that. It can happen, but it's going to happen. Just try to be aware of, social media is there for a reason. And then we have whatnot for the e-commerce stuff that we do. And have I sold? I'm trying to think. I think I might have done a giveaway of a vacation postcard, but I was already back from vacation by like 2 years. And I had some old postcards that I hadn't sent out. Like I sent out my vacation postcards to my friends and family, but I think I had some extras. And somebody said, oh, I'd really like to get a Hawaiian postcard. And I'm like, well, if you win the giveaway, I think that's what we're going to do next. But the difference was but Hawaii would have been safe too, because it's in the US. You just need to be aware of these things because people can access the internet all over the world, even if it's technically not supposed to be the country they're from. People use different ways to do that. It does get so complicated to sell if you're going someplace. Yes. And you're right. Some places will not let you ship with an out of town address. Some places you have to show an identification when you go to their post office. Years ago, I was getting a lot of artwork from overseas, and I'm glad and grateful that I got my artwork from overseas, because then there was some disruption, and you guys are going to have to read between the lines here, where you could ship nothing into or out of that country for like 2 years. And so I was like, I was more worried about the artist than I was about the art, but still it's like, oh my gosh. And, if it's going to put them in a bad place, don't even bother trying to ship it. Like, forget about it. There are some things that are more important. So, we have to be aware that's the world we're in. Not everybody has like such smooth e-commerce that we do in the US. And I think in the US, it's been pretty much uninterrupted, but anytime you cross borders, it does tend to get a little more complicated. And the thing that I like about Whatnot is, from what I understand, I could be wrong. Has anybody done international shipping lately? But I think they use kind of like these main freight forwarding services where you ship it there and then they take care of the rest if it has to go overseas. Am I correct, or did I just totally make that up? Because I personally have not had international shipping in my shows. I've had a few people pop in and say hi, but I've never actually had an order. And the reason I'm posing the question is I know that it can change with time. And I think that with some of the terrific things that have been going on in the world, you said, yeah, of another place doing like kind of like a depot. Yeah, that's what I understand. I But since I haven't actually ever gotten an international label, I don't even know what one would look like. I just don't, you know. And I was in a show the other night where somebody, I think, was in Germany. And Jill, you said you shipped to Canada and whatnot takes care of it. So was the label to the Canadian address, or was it to some like fulfillment center? And I don't want you to give me the customer address. I just want to know, like, if it was a direct shipment or if it was going through like a freight forwarder. We'll do another giveaway here. And then there was a period where I think in Canada they had like a postal strike or something. So that was another issue. There's a lot that goes on. I'm actually surprised that. Okay, cool. So it went just directly to Canadian address. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, again, not having to navigate those things is such a huge time saver for us and headache reliever because, you know, we can't stop this show and like do individual shipping quotes. That's the thing that I've tried to emphasize since I've, you know, embraced the Whatnot way, is that we're doing shows. We're not doing, you know, sell one, ship one, sell one, ship one, but we're doing a full show. And then we're going to do a batch of shipments and orders. April said you had to send one to the territories before the terrificness, but it was the regular USPS. Just took it to your post office, no problems. And you've got a nearby international shipping post office. You know, the funny thing was, I think it was I know it was a different service, but I sold something online and it went to Guam, and it wasn't that anything extra was owed on it, but there was a declaration that had to get filled out. And it was so funny because when I took it to the post office clerk who's worked there for like 20 years said, "I've never seen one of these before." And I was like, well, good. Now I don't feel so bad. But I just had to fill in what the item was, what the value was, all that stuff. And it was a Guam address. I remember that much. So that was funny. And, you know, this particular post office, she has a twin. They have a pair of twins who work at the same post office. So she could have dodged it. She could have been like, let me just go in the back for a second and send her twin out. You added a few extra days since only Dallas ships internationally. You don't know if it mattered, and it processes different than domestic. Yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to say. But a lot of it, I think, has gotten complicated with all of the terrific additional amounts that are sometimes due, because, you know, they're not joking. They're going to collect that money, so it has to get paid. But, you know, again, within the U.S., it's still a very manageable system. We do have some rate increases coming up. I don't think they're gonna affect very much. It's gonna mostly be your lightweight ground advantage. And because, again, Whatnot automatically calculates that, the buyer knows how much they have to pay before they ever swipe the bid or the buy now. And I like that feature.